I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
with everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
Welcome to the Sesh.
Dang, bro. Got him real good.
I'm telling you, dude, I've been really sensitive lately.
Wrecking your throat. How are the pens? Like, has that been rough too? Is just about everything making you cough?
No. My honey stick, I fucking cleaned that motherfucker. It was not burning right. There was too much old wax at the bottom.
Yeah, I had to...
And
I soaked it in ISO for a bit.
Well, I took a really thin sewing needle and just went along the sides.
Yeah, that's a good
And then
idea.
in the coils. And then I burned new wax in there, and it completely cleared it out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like, it went to brand new, and I was like, oh, good. We did Black Amber last night, and it was fine.
Oh, you still have Black Amber concentrate?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, it's just, Steph likes it, but...
I mean, Black Amber was delicious as a flower, so...
Well, she likes edibles a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny, because she's like, I feel bad. And I'm like, why? It's because I don't want to have to use it to do that. And I'm like, wait a minute, you take other meds for anxiety and depression, correct? She goes, yeah. And I'm like, you can't see this as buying beer from your local grocery. Like, you don't get beer because you're like, I really want to get introspective and think, or I got a little bit of pain, I'm going to drink this. Like, that never helps.
Yeah.
It's never helped. It's inflammatory. So it's when she gets it, she's just like, yeah. And I'm like, you need to stop feeling bad about it.
Because she still looks at it as a drug in some instances where it's not a medicine, it's not helping her. Even though it is, and she sees that, there's still that backside of our mind that's like, hey, this is a drug, or this is, it's recreational in some stance versus, hey, this is really helping you with your anxiety, your depression, whatever. Mm-hmm. And potentially, maybe it's not right now, but potentially down the road, this could be a healthier, better option for you if you can learn to navigate that.
Well, even like, other people we know, somebody close to us, she came over, we had like a get together, and she had a little bit of bud, and she said it was finally like the elephant had gotten off her chest. Like, her anxiety is so high, it feels like an elephant.
Her friend?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we'll say
that's
friend.
horrible.
But when they live...
Are you talking about Steph that has that?
No, it's not Steph.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't
You were talking about the one who came over.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
And she used flower, and that helped?
Well, just cannabis in general. Like, it's helped her in the past. And for her, she's just like, what causes the problems with cannabis is marketing. And what helps it is marketing. And it makes sense why they won't let you market it. Because it will pull away a lot of things.
It's literally just better quality of life. And the commercial for cannabis would be like, hey, do you want to be happier, healthier, more introspective, like a better version of yourself, more connected with your friends, your family, your kids, more connected to your job, more like focused in your intent of what you actually do in life. And the list of the side effects would be like dry eyes, dry mouth, paranoia, and high doses.
And persistent cough if you smoke too much.
Yeah, so if that was the commercial that people were seeing versus I've seen these commercials for all of these other meds, and it was like, oh, the creator of this med, which is supposed to help with this, it doesn't work for everyone. So if that doesn't work, well, they've now made this med that now works. And I'm like, so the same company is making two different meds for the same exact thing, and one has these side effects, and one has these side effects, but the very first side effect that they reported on the commercial was death.
Which one was this?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to it. But it was just like, what is this garbage? Like, these are the first medications, and every side effect was like, oh, internal bleeding, this. And I'm like, so of course that's why you can't market cannabis, because if you had a commercial that was like, hey, like showing all that same shit, and your list of side effects was like, oh, maybe persistent cough if you smoke too much. You might get dry eyes in high doses or certain strains, or you might get paranoia in high doses. People are like, okay, so I just use a low dose?
Yeah,
but that's why you can't market it. But that's the other side of, marketing has also shot it in the foot, because this is your brain on drugs, and it's
but it only makes sense. I mean, a lot of times those things were probably set up by the DEA to be able to create a good front on not the entire organization, mind you, but like what we're seeing now, like a lot of these organizations had a lot of crooked people that were running these organizations. They were in the higher ups of these organizations, so no wonder why they're getting, these things filtered over to them. What greater way than to hide in plain sight, right? The DARE program in the 80s. Like, what a great way to hide in sight.
Oh, yeah. Well,
drugs are really expensive. Like,
Yep.
I don't even know what it stood for. All I remember is that funny one that you would see at Spencer's and shit, right? But it was, looking back, it was like, oh, this is a great deception to make this look bad.
Well, I grew up thinking it was bad. The first times that
too.
I was around friends that were smoking weed, I was very Mormon, and they were drinking and smoking weed, and they're like, "Do you want to do that?" I'm like, "Oh no, that's okay. I don't do that." Because there's
that's how you were raised, yeah.
And so finally, after being around it for well over a year and seeing what happens when people use it, and it wasn't what I had heard. And finally, one day I was curious, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys want to smoke?" And they're like, "No, we're good." And I'm like, "No, I'd smoke with you." Like, "Oh shit, okay, yeah, let's go buy some bud." Because at the time, it was like you'd buy an eighth, and that was maybe, that would last you however long that lasted for you and your friends. And then maybe later, eventually you got more, but it wasn't usually all the time.
Yeah.
So we went and bought stuff. I think we smoked on top of a can because they didn't have a pipe with them. And then I'm like, right after that, I'm like, you got to make devices for this. And they're like, oh, they do. They sell them here. And so I went to the smoke shop with them, bought a little metal pipe, and we used that to smoke out of after that. But I was like, what the garbage? Like,
well, I mean, that sounds like a stereotypical like cannabis story. Like, yeah, we got it from some friends and we smoked that. Like, I didn't have those ones. Like, I was in the Navy and somebody goes, "You want to smoke?" And we're like, "Sure." And they rolled it up and we were in our house and they were really chill about it, and we just smoked and we talked and listened to music and had black lights in this room, and
that's hilarious.
We just chilled, and now I had such a very easy going into it, and then I had the incident where I smoked way too much with somebody, and it was horrible weed. Like, thinking back, it was really bad.
I remember early weed stages, going with friends, and scary learning it. Meeting this dealer over here. We're gonna go get this product.
Not as scary and like super chill guy. He's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah. No, and it was like, it was back then. This is 20 years,
Yeah.
And so going around getting that, and I remember it was like, do you want Kush? Do you want mids? Or do you want swag? And I remember once I got swag, and I got so excited when I bought it because the bag was like so full in comparison to what I paid for before. But then when I smoked it and realized it's a lot of sticks, it's a lot of stems, you got a lot of seeds, it's really shitty bud. You get headaches, you get not great experiences from it. It's not a clean quality experience. And that was like, oh, yeah, there's a big difference. There's a massively big difference, even back then.
Oh, yeah.
Between quality of flower. I remember Granddaddy Purple was the first like actual strain that I got, or that's what they said. It was from a dealer 20 years ago around here. That's like, it's been ages, but that was the first one. And that might have been the first time that I actually felt high. Because before that, I never actually felt high when I smoked. I just was like, oh, this is funny. Like, I'm hanging out with friends, whatever. The first time I actually felt it, I think, was with that. And I was driving home because it was 2:00 in the morning. It's, and I'm cruising down 820 North in Provo. There's no cars on there. It's a 2-lane road. It's 25 miles an hour. And I felt like I was going 50. And I looked down, I'm like 22. And I was like, oh shit. And so I'm just like focusing because it's maybe a mile to my house where there's no cars, real quiet. When you're high, you're just really focused, but everything felt like I was going, light speed.
Right.
And that was it. But that was the first like actual time that I had experienced high of sorts. And I had been smoking for months by that point.
Not me, man. I mean, I remember every single time. I just remember I got way too high when we smoked a blunt and hotboxed this truck on the way up to It's right above Seattle. I don't know the town. I can't remember, like Everett, Washington or something like that. Maybe it's before or after. But anyways, we went up there and I was so high. There was a ton of girls there. And it's just, there was 5 dudes and there was probably like 8 girls there.
Oh, wow.
We show up, me, this guy named Lucky, and Chance. We ended up playing cards at a table because we were so high. We didn't want to talk to anybody. We just wanted to chill, and we didn't even talk to each other. We just
played cards.
We were playing Go Fish. That's how fucking high we were, dude. We couldn't play anything complex. And then we ended up fucking all of us falling asleep on the couches. And then they're like, and I just barely had this blunt. And they go, hey, Jesse, we're going out to the deck. You want to come with us? It's this fucking gorgeous home. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And my buddy Chad, who had like super high tolerance for everything, he's just like, where are you guys going? We're just going to finish this blunt. He's like, get back in here. So I brought you up here because these girls want to meet a bunch of sailors. I'm like, all right, roger that. Go out, smoke that, passed out on the couch. It was spinning. It was just going so fast.
Were you also drinking?
No, I was just spinning. It was just, this was
just a night of smoking.
Yeah, just smoking. And then after that, I would smoke like these joints at home on the weekends after I'd been on the base all day, you know, throughout the week. And I'd just smoke a joint and we'd watch like this Chinese channel. We had free cable. We don't know where we got it from, but we had it.
It was there.
And we had this Chinese channel and we would all get high and watch it and try to say like, anybody guess what these guys are talking about? So we'd make up shit and we were just having fun.
Do you think that's how MXC started?
Probably. A couple of high guys over there going.
Watching these Asian like game shows.
But it was fun, man. But I had these good experiences with it. I only really had one bad experience with weed. But now I'm so appreciative of the time that we are in because of the plentiful ideas and products that you have from cannabis is not the old school way.
And the quality is...
Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
I do love, like, when I first got into, like, actually into cannabis, I don't consider when I first started smoking when I was, like, 18, 19, I don't consider that getting into cannabis. I consider getting into cannabis after I came back into it, after I researched, I started understanding strains, what cannabinoids were, what anything about the endocannabinoid system, or, you know, how my body interacts with it, any of that was. And so when I came back into it, I loved the flower at the beginning, but I think it was almost a year or two before even carts came around. Because they were...
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't get started until the carts came back. I didn't touch it for...
And then finally I came over with a cart, and that was like...
Yeah, dude, that changed everything. It was awesome. I loved it. And I still get that high. And I can on a daily basis if I want to. I just have to increase my dosage. But it's nice now because the idea of using cannabis, like right now, like I have been getting this persistently bad cough.
Yeah.
Not because I'm sick. It's because my throat's irritated. And
there's also a lot of shit in the air with
too. Well, I just need to go to concentrates for a little while. I think concentrates by far are the best. Yeah. And when I'm talking concentrates, I'm not talking distillates either.
Yeah, not pens. We mean like
dab
concentrates.
Yeah.
You know, live resins, live rosins, butters, waxes.
As intimidating as they sound, they are actually really good for you. Like long-term feel, long-term relief.
Experience.
Yeah, and cost-effective wise, even though like here in Utah, a gram's going to go for like $60 to $80.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. But even then, like, if I was consuming flour compared to that and how much I could easily be going through way more flour than I could concentrate.
Oh, gram per gram, 100%, yeah. But
gram for gram.
But at the same time, I feel like a concentrate is closer to like maybe a quarter ounce of flour. Or maybe half. It depends on the strain.
Right, it really does. And the potency of the strain. And that's why I've really enjoyed concentrates for a while. I've got my Phantom Honey Stick. Check that out. It's a cool one if you want a little portable dab rig in your pocket that doesn't spill.
Or if you want the Dr. Dabber, which has been my favorite for ages.
Dude, it's been so nice.
We'll have the link
love
below.
This thing.
Still, this one is about, God, how long have I had this? 5, 6 years maybe?
Yeah.
the Dr. Dabber switch. My battery still works great. This lasts all day long. I can use this all day long without having to charge it.
Really?
Yeah. And often when I do, like how it's been on this whole time, I'll leave it like that when I'm having a sesh. I'll leave it on for a bit, take a few, and then I'll turn it off when I'm done using it for a bit. But normally when I'm using it, it just stays on.
Yeah.
And so this has the most incredible battery life out of any device that I've seen or had the opportunity to use.
Well, you can tell it's quality made. Is this a German or is this U.S.?
That's a great question. Let's see where Dr. Dabber is.
And the reason why I say that German or U.S. because typically they look a little bit more into the longevity and the quality built in products.
Well, just
not all of them, but a lot of them. But as long as they're
German
not,
cars are fantastic. Or if you look at like Stores and Pickle products are fantastic.
No,
they're also German.
That's super funny. You brought up Stores and Pickle because I've actually been comparison with the Air Vapes, and I love the Air Vapes. I think it's a great device. I love the use of the device. However, when you load and reload that thing, and then when you have to clean it, you got to clean that thing a lot more than you do with any of your Stores and Pickle products. Those things, they can take a long time with no cleaning, and then when you go to clean it, yeah, you're scraping a little. You might soak it in ISO for like a day. No big deal. But this other one, dude, I swear I got to clean that thing every week.
Oh, 100%.
Like deep clean. I can't just do a surface clean.
And the pods get so sticky and the other thing,
it's kind of annoying.
It's a bittersweet. I love the Air Vapes for some reasons. I love the Stores and Pickles for others.
I like Air Vapes for like on the go. That's one of my favorites. If I could preload a couple of pods and then go, that's cool for me. But even though the Mighty is so awkward and I can't stand it up, I don't give a shit. I really like the flow. I like the flavor and I like the longevity and the battery. Dude, I mean, you're going to get like 6 to 8 sessions out of that.
Yeah.
Which it's almost identical to the Air Vapes.
They're pretty similar. And I'm like, I feel like most of those, even the Venti, the Mighty, the Air Vapes, they're pretty similar on amount of sessions you get, things like that, which I've loved. Like I will say for me, if I'm going out, like say I'm going hiking and I brought a vaporizer, for me, because I use more than like 3-4 bowls, I only have 3-4 of the little things for the Air Vapes. And if I don't use that, it gets way dirtier. And if I do use that, then I've got to take them out, try and dump out the little burnt flower in there so I can put new flower in to do more than that because I usually do more than 3 bowls. Yeah,
it's easier just to pop off low.
Yeah, so for me, like if I were
hiking
or something...
That's where those tubes come in really handy.
Yeah, I'd bring a tube full of flower and Venti or Mighty, like that would be amazing. And the Air Vapes for me more is like if I were at home, something like that, because it's got that little, I'm just at home.
Yeah, so. And it's comfortable. It's a lot more comfortable than the Stores and Pickle, but as far as quality and consistency, I really like Stores and Pickle. And I hate saying that because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna like Air Vapes because it's not the premium vaporizer, and there's a reason why you pay more for it. Well, you build up a resistance to the side effects.
Your body becomes more acclimated and used to it.
It's like metformin. Metformin's really good for your body. It helps promote longevity, cellular growth. However, the side effect is gastrointestinal. It just hurts your guts.
You got to switch to George Foreman. It's way better for you.
Yeah, metformin. Okay, yeah.
Bro, when you were...
Yeah.
So when you were young, I was thinking about this morning. I was kind of curious. Did you ever do other sports? Or was it mostly martial arts?
No, I played baseball. I was really good at baseball.
Okay. Did you play like football or football or basketball?
No, I wasn't very good at basketball.
Baseball.
I played baseball.
Interesting.
I got into baseball. My parents wanted me to play in Little League. I sucked the first 2 years of Little League. My third year in Little League, I started doing really good. I got asked to be on the all-star team, and then I was going to play high school, but then they told me I had to have like a 2.0, and I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
You're like, fuck that, I don't have energy for this.
Dude, I enjoyed baseball, but I mean, baseball's only fun when you hit the ball and you run. Other than that, is the most boring
because you're just standing in outfield or sitting in a dugout. Like,
that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun, and I had like, you know, my real good friend that just passed, Danny. He was an amazing pitcher in high school, and he was a sophomore. He was throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Oh wow!
Like, I mean, and that was like his basic ball. He was throwing so hard. I remember the catcher actually, he got like, it's called a boxer's fracture, where
it fractured his thumb.
Yeah, but in between. No, it's called a boxer's fracture because there's a separation of the tendon and the muscle that kind of pushes it away, and it hurts like crazy. He caused it so bad where they had to put padding
in the mid that's not,
and it
standard.
Still hurt him. So they would have to switch out catchers. That's in the middle of the game, which is insane. But Danny was such a good ball player, like even as a kid. Like he was playing JV when he was a sophomore. He walked on JV, and he just moved from Hawaii. So it was like, it's great. But yeah, I really like.
Do you have really good balance?
Me? Yeah.
Okay. I was curious. I'm like, I know you did a lot of martial arts, like tons of martial arts.
Yeah, since I was 6.
I don't know about any other sporting things. So I was like, because last night, Alec and I went snowboarding. And I was just thinking about it, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, man, I wonder if Jesse has really good balance. Like, I don't think we've talked about it. We don't do a lot of balance, coordinated things together. So it was just more.
I mean, that'd be weird if we were.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Jesse, we're going to do this, like, shape. You get body paint on, I'll get body paint.
I mean, like, Alec and I go longboarding all the time. So for that, like, that's balance, that's
longboarding scares the
things like
shit
that.
out of me.
You know, so I was just thinking, like, well, I don't know. I know there's coordination, lots of balance within martial arts. Yeah. But I'm like, I also understand that I wouldn't want to try and start learning snowboarding at my age, and I'm 37. Like, I can't imagine
46.
Like wanting to start, because snowboarding I feel like is harder than skiing. You fall down way more than you do when you're skiing.
Really?
Oh yeah, because so skiing's pretty easy. You stand up, you pizza. If you pizza, you will slow down and stop the entire way. You can go down any hill almost just doing a pizza. So it's really simple. As long as you've got leg muscles, you're like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And then as you get more comfortable, you can slowly let your pizza out, speed up, do that. But with snowboarding,
it's just go.
Most of the time it's go, but then it's, hey, you've got to be comfortable enough to go on your toes or your heels. You've got to go to these positions that feel awkward, feel like you're going to fall if you do them. And instead it's finding the balance of, hey, I'm leaning at this angle, my toes are at this angle, like
much like boarding and skateboarding and things like that.
Yeah. So just, I fell all the time starting, but skiing, I feel like I can even do skiing now and I would be just fine. And the last time I snow skied was in 4th grade. I
don't know about that.
But I water skied several times when we had a boat because my dad loved water skiing, and so I grew up learning how to do that too. So I can imagine skiing's not a hard one when it translates there.
No, I've done water skiing. Like you said, like getting up on skis is not as difficult as you think it would. Wakeboarding, like snowboarding, that is difficult, especially if you don't have a rig set up. Yeah. Like you need a high bar. You're just hooking it to the back. It's pretty fucking hard to get up on that thing.
So my parents' boat was a cabin cruiser. It wasn't a wakeboarding boat. And so when we'd go and they got a wakeboard finally, or even when I was kneeboarding and I was jumping the wake.
Dude, that's so much fun.
I loved boating.
Kneeboarding is so much fun.
That's how I got my plastic surgery. I split my eyebrow open kneeboarding.
You fake fucker.
Well, because I went to... I know. Well, that's... when you go into a job and they're like, tell us something interesting about you. I always go and I'm like, I got plastic surgery. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, these tits aren't real. And they're like, wait, seriously? And I'm like, no, I cut my head open kneeboarding. But I had to get I had to get plastic surgery to fix the nerve and the muscle because it split it in 3 different places. And so they were just like, oh, you won't be able to move your eyebrow or have any feeling in it at all unless you get plastic surgery. So, but kneeboarding was my favorite.
Yeah, kneeboarding is fun, dude. I agree with you, dude. Boating is really fun. Boating is really fun with the right people.
Yeah.
You know who I don't like boating with? Family.
Really?
I don't like boating with family. And the reason why is because I'm too protective, and all I'm thinking about that something's going to go wrong. I used to love boating with my friends when I lived in Boise.
Yeah.
And we would go every Wednesday at 3:00. We'd all meet there at the harbor.
Yeah.
And we get in my buddy Justin's boat, and we would spend the next 4 or 5 hours out in the water just wakeboarding. We brought Danny's surfboard. We'd wax that thing. And then we get up on the surfboard, like pushing into the wax and all that, and you get right up.
I've never surfboarded. That's one thing I still have yet to like have an opportunity to do.
Once you
take the opportunity to do.
You know, it's kind of freaky for people. It's how far you go out when you surf, and when you're waiting out there to catch that, because it takes a while to get up on a board.
I believe it, but
it's this stupid, unnerving feeling that there's something underneath you that can eat you.
Yeah, that is my fear in the ocean, is always the sharks. I've gone snorkeling. I've never gone scuba diving yet, but I've snorkeled in Stingray City out in like the Bahamas. I've snorkeled out in like Mexico in the ocean and stuff. And every time, even though it's gorgeous and there's really cool fish, all my mind is thinking of is, where's a shark? Where's a shark? Am I going to get eaten by a shark? Like, that's all I can think about.
Isn't that funny? Because the actual, like, the likability of you getting bit by a shark is pretty minimal.
It's so small.
And if you think about it, like, there are more people that are like, because everybody's a bunch of, you know, it's like that. Why are your white people? Why are your edibles so strong? What are you running from? But it's always white people doing crazy fucking shit. Like the videos on YouTube of people fucking with sharks. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious because they have figured out how to control sharks. And they turned these big, like I saw this woman with a great white coming right for her. And she just took her hand on his nose.
Pushed it down.
Moved him around.
I have seen that. They guide him and stuff. And they're like, but I love watching Shark Week. So even though I'm terrified of sharks, I love Shark Week. That's one of my favorite
Well, the best thing
series.
you learn about it is to don't run from it.
Yeah.
Get down in the water and look at it.
Yeah,
like,
well, and you can use your hand to guide it.
because
I've seen it. Even with great whites.
Well, because
or bull sharks. Or
they only go fast when you're going fast.
Tiger sharks. Like all of that stuff.
Lemon sharks, bull sharks, those ones are just fucking mean.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of cool. Like, you know, I've seen a bunch of hammerhead sharks when I was in Bali. This freaked me the fuck out. Like, we had to anchor really far out from the island, and then we'd have these speedboats that would come up, and they would build this janky fucking, like, platform with, like, 4 pallets. Like, nailed together on 4 50-gallon empty barrel drums. That's it. That's what was our pier.
Yeah.
So they let the brow down, which is the walkway, and it's flat. There's no stairs on it. It's just a flat runway. And you've been on a ship, so you understand what a brow is. And you're coming down, and then you're going right onto a fucking pallets that you can see through.
Because I feel like, well, no, it doesn't weigh that much, though.
No, I mean it
would be fine.
But it's the fact that we're on the Indian Ocean.
That's insane, though.
And then you look down between the slats, dude. No fucking joke. Hammerheads just swirling around.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
But the thing is they're thinking that it's fish. They're thinking it's people.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, cool, they're gonna feed us, and all we're thinking is, fuck, they're going to eat us. And they're like, no. Do you bring some of that, like, fucked up stuff? You bring all your garbage?
Yeah.
Like, we'll eat that shit. And it's fucking crazy.
Have you ever swam with the sharks?
No. No.
So Thomas and my mom went on some cruise somewhere, and they did that. They went scuba diving with sharks, where you go and you sit down on the center, like on the ocean floor.
Oh, yeah, and they go around you and stuff.
They feed the sharks around you. And you just sit there, and they're like, don't move or you might get bit, but like just sit there. And I haven't done that because I'm not scuba certified. But I did do the walking with the sharks in the shark tank at the Atlantis Hotel in the Bahamas.
Was it cool?
That was the most incredible thing. They're 6, 7, 8 foot long sharks. And you're walking around this tank, and they are swimming right past you. You just walk around the whole tank, and they're just swimming past you the whole time. And it's insane because they're like, don't touch them. Like, don't touch them. But they're close enough that I could reach out, and like, it was...
That's crazy. Dude.
But it was so cool because I still love pushing my boundaries of what I'm terrified of. Like, I'm afraid of heights, but I still want to go skydiving one day.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of heights.
I'd love to do that.
Sharks, I'm still terrified of sharks, but I want to go scuba diving with sharks sometime. I need to get scuba certified and go to a place to do that. But like, that's something
How
I
are you
still
with
want to do.
spiders?
I don't like spiders. There's
I
nothing.
used to not like them. They don't bug me anymore.
I don't think I'd want to hold one though. Like,
No.
I don't like snakes. I really don't like snakes, but I've held like a giant boa on my shoulders, just to say that I did, because I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to like, because I like to push myself. Like, I know that my fears aren't always grounded in like
reality.
Yeah, it's just like everyone has fears, and I understand that, and that's okay. And not everyone has to push their fears, but I like to like when I rock climbed and climbed over the edge of a cliff that was 160 feet high. That was fucking terrifying, and it was because
no desire.
Normally you walk over the edge and you walk backwards and that because
you belay when you go.
Yeah, but this, because of where it was mounted, was like this far from the edge of the cliff, and you couldn't walk over. You had to hold your rope because it's too far of a cliff to have anyone belay you.
So then you just hook it around your carabiner.
But then you have to like climb over the edge of the cliff while holding your rope. And for someone who's terrified of heights,
yeah, you're shaking the whole time.
I was so horrified until I got over the edge and I was sitting on the carabiner and just like resting like I would if I was rappelling. Then I'm like, this is fine. This is like rappelling. And I've done that just on 20, 30 foot cliffs that were, someone's belaying me at below. I climb up and then I, whatever. That's very different than doing my own where I've never done that before. And it was like, Curtis is sitting there. He's like, all right, you got to climb over the edge here. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, why in the hell am I doing this? Like this is, and I'm literally like shaking. I'm terrified. I'm like, no, it's fine. But it's that, wanting to
just getting past it. I know, man.
Yeah.
It's like spiders. Like I used to be freaked out by them. I don't want it on me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to freak out. Like
I never freak out about them. I just think they're gross, and I have no desire to like pet one, hold one. If I see it, I'm not going to like, try and pet it or anything. I'm just one of the ones who's like, gross, that's in my house. I'm probably going to kill it. Or, if it's outside, I'm just going to go away.
Dude, I remember in Provo, you ever seen those? I don't know if you guys got them here too, but there are these like centipedes with the really long legs.
Maybe.
In your house.
Oh, not in our house, no.
Yeah, the legs are like this high.
Oh.
The centipede's down there and it moves. And if you see them in your house, leave them alone.
Are they the poisonous ones?
No, they eat spiders. They eat all other insects, and they're fast.
Oh.
So when we used to have them in Provo, we were like, oh, we got to get them out. And then we found out what they were, and we're like, oh, just leave them alone. And they would eat all of the spiders.
Interesting.
And spiders are annoying, especially the bites in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Why'd you bite me? Like, oh, you twitched.
Yeah, right?
Like, you fucking idiot.
I know. I hate that too, because it's random. And I'm like, so I've never enjoyed spiders. I've never had creepy crawly things like that.
Yeah.
They're just, not that I'm like terrified of them, but I don't.
You just don't enjoy them.
No, they give me like weird, like I don't want to hold them. I don't want to touch them.
I have a healthy fear of heights, but it's not debilitating. Like if I need to get up somewhere, I'll do it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I have no problem doing that.
I grew up doing construction, so I've been on tons of roofs. I've even fallen off roofs, and I still have no problem climbing up on a roof.
Yep, I've fallen off a roof.
But yet, it's a different, like, I'm wary. I try to be cautious with
the older I get, the more wary I am.
I'm more intentional with my foot plant. Like, versus when I was 12, 14, I'm running up this stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Way different.
Jumping off stuff.
Yeah. And now I'm like, okay, no, I got to be way more careful with what I'm doing. I feel I am pretty damn nimble, surprisingly. I feel like for my age, I still, like, when we go hiking and stuff, I'll do, like, trail running sometimes where I jump off, like, because I'm pretty small. Like, I'm pretty light, and so even though I don't run or do these things, I feel like I'm pretty nimble and active, or, like, I have decent balance. But that probably came from, like, doing sports and dancing for 10 years, long time. I don't know. Like, there's all these things that I think just help us. And, gosh, I just worry about it because Grandpa Holt, he fell a lot as he got older. My mom, she's fallen several times. But I think hers stemmed from her scooter accident that when she did, she had to wear like a brace and then a leg brace for a bit, and then it was snowing after when she was wearing it, and she slipped on the ice, and then she had 2 leg braces on for a bit, and I was like, oh my God. And she had one hand bummed and that, and I was like, okay, that was when I first met Emily, because Emily was like, I used to go down and help my mom every Sunday, help cook dinner for her and stuff, and Emily was just surprised because I'd always be like, oh yeah, I gotta go help my mom, and gotta go do this, and so it was,
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. It makes me worry because I feel like my mom was a gymnast. She was a dancer for 10, 20 years. And so I always worry, oh shit, like, was grandpa coordinated? Is she coordinated? Am I going to be falling in 10, 15 years? So it's definitely something I think about of like, oh shit, I don't want to get old. I really don't want to get old.
Well, dude, I mean, a lot of it comes down to, what you're doing, if you're keeping active and all those things. And, a really good thing, especially when I talk, I press on you so hard. Like, resistance training is super important for your bone structure. And I feel like I've been pushing myself a lot more lately.
Yeah.
And a lot of my aches and pains have been going away because I've been pushing just a little bit more. The bone density, the tendons are stronger. The muscles are starting to feel better with that. So that's why it's just like, man, the best cure for pain is to work out.
Is to grow your muscles and support it better.
The skeletal system, yeah. And that's...
Because that's what I've thought about. And I was like, it's crazy, but when I went through my motorcycle accident, the one thing I think the doctor never told me to do? Create a workout.
That too. Yeah.
But like create an actual workout to help support the muscles around my bone structure that needed that.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people don't talk about that.
That would have
been... They go on to diet.
That would have been the best, most beneficial thing that I could have started then to help support my back through these years. Mm-hmm. And I thought about it, I'm like, damn, instead of like all these years, because I'm like, I was motorcycle riding and I would go out for hours and hours, and that's great, but that doesn't give me, and I'm all thinking, well, I'm using core muscles to sit up, so that's great because no, I'm not strengthening or doing anything to grow them. And so I'm like, so really all that does is just add strain. But if instead it was like, hey, I'd go work out and do these to build it, then I could have enjoyed my motorcycle riding more instead of going, fuck, I keep hurting more and more and more and more. And instead of building, a structure going, hey, I'm going to implement this, kind of like talking to my mom today where she was like, oh, I've got all of these boxes of documents in my office that I have to go through and do this, and it seems so overwhelming. Okay, we'll just do 30 minutes. Do that until you have a habit and it doesn't seem so overwhelming. I don't have to build all this muscle today. I just have to start doing the small steps that will help in, because it's been never exercises for 10 years. My back would be better. Wouldn't be perfect, but I would feel a lot better.
Yeah, you'd feel way different. And it's the hard part too, man, because it's so easy to fall off that wagon. Like 2 weeks, dude, and you could notice a significant difference in how you look and feel if you don't go. Or if you aren't committing to it. A lot of people will supplement it like, oh, I go walking. Like, that's not resistance.
No.
That's just you moving.
Yeah, which is good if you are a person who doesn't move. That's at least a start. That's your 30 minutes of getting you into it. And maybe once you have a good, consistent habit of that, you can take that 30-minute habit instead of walking. Well, maybe once or twice a week you incorporate like intensive, more workouts in it.
Well, and the argument could be, well, Jess, I run a lot. Like, well, that's actually counterproductive too, because if you run too much, it starts to be catabolic, where it starts to eat the muscles and the bones and stuff like that. When you stress your heart like that, a lot of times runners and like triathletes, they have bad hearts later on because they stress it so much. They push their bodies so much.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason why giant bodybuilders have triple bypasses when they're 40. It's because they've gotten so big that their body requires more blood flow, more oxygen to run its same skeletal system, same organs, but you've made the outside bigger.
Yeah, you've made the mass more than it was designed to support. And so now you're having to create something different to try and support what you've changed.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good to be able to put in resistance training because It works the body different. It forces your body to work harder than you normally would, and it's not forever, so it's nice. And it doesn't have to be like, you can do it in 30, 40 minutes tops. If you really want to go crazy, maybe you've eaten an edible. I don't know. Could have happened to me. But go to the gym and you're just like, you know what? I'm going to stay here for a while. It was like a leg day, and I had like probably 35 milligrams of an edible, and then I puffed on a pen on the way over.
Yeah.
And then I get there, I start squatting, and then before you know it, dude, it kicks in about second set. Because I'm putting my body through a lot of stress, and it kicks in right when I'm racking the weight.
Yeah.
I felt like I could keep going, dude. I fucked my legs up for a week, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm making sounds like every time I sit down. Like no, dude. I'm like,
That's
I'm OF girl
hilarious.
now, and I'm like,
Yep.
what the fuck? This is...
Check out Jesse's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Feet pics! All right, guys. Hey, this was a fun sesh. Yeah. What are you guys into right now? What's going on?
Oh, dude, I'm excited. It's spring.
Hey, that person who left that giant book list, thank you, but quit fucking commenting
on
it.
like 17 episodes with the exact same.
No need.
Hard no.
No need.
Yeah.
You can do it once. We got it.
Yeah, or shoot us an email.
Yeah, and everybody else, start making some comments. Be funny ones, even if you want to make fun of me. That's okay. If you want to make fun of Brandon, you know.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Oh, I was going to say that's going to be a Cash App. We'll have the Cash App down below. It's going to be $5 every time you want to make fun of Brandon. It's $1 if you want to make fun of Jesse. I don't know. Yeah,
We're discounting for some reason.
Just this week.
He's on sale this week.
Just this week.
Yeah.
So if you hear this on Thursday, get it in there. We'll have his Cash App and my Venmo just for shits and giggles. Love you guys. Take care.